Okay, so this is one of the great things about having no plan. I'm heading for Great Sand Dunes National Park, only because I was driving up in the mountains here in this rented RV, and the weather report came on that there was due to be a lot of snow tonight. So I thought I ought to get down low, and then what do you know, on the map I spotted this national park, which I've never even really heard of. And as you can see, the mountains are getting ready for a big storm tonight, and I'm going to stay down low. Well, this is shaping up to be one of the most wonderful sunsets I think I've ever seen. And I can't even see the sun, but the backlighting effect on the mountains there. I've watched it creep up from the base of the mountains were lit up, and then it gradually moved up, and now just the peaks are getting sun. 32 square miles of these dunes. And when you come here, be sure to go to the visitor center and watch the excellent little film about how the dunes got formed. Essentially what it comes down to is, over the millions of years, those mountains in the distance there, wind broke off little particles, or bits that had broken off through freezing and thawing were carried by wind. And there's a kind of a bowl here in this part of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. And the particles all ended up here. Now the prevailing wind is this way. Storm wind is this way. So for most of the year, the prevailing winds carry these little particles as far as they can, but at some point, the wind tapers off for a moment, the particles fall, and they pile up and they pile up and they pile up, and then a storm comes along and the wind comes from the other direction and shoves all those particles up higher, and then later the prevailing winds blow them this way. And the striations, color patterns there, are because if you look at that ridge straight ahead there, you'll see dark gray. Well, that's because some particles from one of those mountains are heavier than other particles, and there's a process named saltation, which is geology speak for drop the heavy ones. So as the wind comes over the crest there, and that by no means is the top of the dunes here. They highest are 700 feet high here, highest in North America. But as the wind comes this way and it's carrying various particles, those dark ones are apparently heavier, and you can see the particles are of comparable weights because they're in a band. But as the wind carries a whole mixture of particles over the top of that little dunette, the heavier ones drop down and form that band, while lighter ones continue. And look, there you can see the lightest of all got carried the farthest, and that's what has created this landscape. I'm not going to do that now, but you can climb to the top of the highest dune and then see for 32 square miles nothing but dunes. So it's the morning after a bit of rain yesterday, which resulted in that nice fresh new snow on the mountaintops. There are a few 14ers right close by. I'm so glad to have taken an extra day. It was easy to take a quick look and say, okay, I'll move on to the next thing, but I'm so glad I remained here for a couple days. Okay, now this series of little mini dunes explains the whole process. The prevailing wind comes this way, and as you can see, the colors are different on each side of the little dunette, because the lighter weight gets carried over the top. The heavier ones fall on this side, the lighter ones get carried across, and they're lighter in weight and in color. And as that happens, the dune gets higher and higher, and parts of it exceed the, I think they call it the angle of repose or something like that, that the sand can only get so high before it reaches a steepness that it slides down. So that's what these little landslides are on the faces of the dunes. And the same things happen there in the big dunes. So it's kind of nice to see the video, understand the geology of it, and then see it in action. And I love these marks here, and you can see, well, the wind comes this way, and for the most part, this little piece of grass is blown that way, but then sometimes the wind will switch, and as it switches, it makes that semicircular pattern showing where it has scraped the sand. What an interesting place. So if we decided to hike about 2 hours to the highest, actually not the highest, but the second highest point in the dunes here, and it's not easy walking because it's one of those 3 steps forward, 2 steps back situations, because the sand gives way under your weight. I found if I get down on all fours, it's easier if I distribute my weight across a greater surface area. The color bands are very pronounced here, that you can see that the varying weights and densities of the sand grains that are being carried by the wind get deposited according to their weight relative to the other grains. Now, there's somebody, I don't know if you can spot, but there is a little speck there or so that is someone who's climbed quite a while to get there. But it's not close to the highest, because I took a hike yesterday over in those mountains so I could get an overview, the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, get an overview of the dunes here. That guy up there is not even close. It really goes up 700 feet. At any rate, so the highest dunes in North America, but not the highest, not the only dunes in North America, certainly, and not necessarily the highest dunes in the world, because places that are the highest or utmost or somethingest typically make themselves known. And I've been here before, not here, but in a place just like this, in Namibia, which is on the west coast of Africa, just, well, from Cape Town, the very southern tip. If you just carry on northward, you get, after you leave South Africa, you get to Namibia, which is a very desolate area, kind of like this. Well, we're now in the highest in North America, which is saying something, because in all my travels, now 123 countries, I've never found one country that has as much natural wonder diversity as the United States. And beyond that, not only is the diversity amazing here, from, oh, you know, high mountains, glaciers, North Cascades, to Grand Canyon, of course, but not only are the natural wonders wonderful, amazing, but the National Park Service, what a treasure. So my camp was there. If you can see, you can see a glint of a couple of RVs parked there, and that's where I spent the last couple of nights. And it's a clean campground. It has very, very sturdy bear boxes, so you put food in there instead of letting the bears smell it and, you know, tear your vehicle open to get at it. The rangers are wonderful. The visitor center is so clean. The bathrooms in the camp area are heated. Come on, what other nation does this? So the National Park System is one reason I do think we live, those of us who are in the USA, live in just an amazing place.